If you've been told you have poor egg quality, you might feel like your options are limited or that your body is not capable of what you want most. In this episode, 5 tips to get pregnant even with poor egg quality, we're talking about what egg quality actually means, what affects it, and how to support your fertility from a functional fertility perspective. You'll learn practical, researched steps that go beyond supplements, things that can influence the environment where your eggs develop. Excited for you to listen? Let's go. Welcome back. I'm Sarah Clark, founder of Fab Fertile. For over a decade, my team and I have helped hundreds of couples improve their chances of pregnancy success, whether naturally or through IVF. We specialize in supporting those with low AMH, high FSH, diminished ovarian reserve, premature ovarian insufficiency, recurrent pregnancy loss through functional lab testing and personalized fertility strategies. This episode is for you if you've been told you have poor egg quality, low AMH, high FSH, you want to understand what's really behind those numbers, you've been through failed IVF cycles or early losses, and you want to know what else you can do to improve the outcomes. You're looking for a whole body functional fertility approach that supports egg and mitochondrial health, not just hormone levels. Thanks so much for listening. I'm so thankful that you're here. Make sure you hit subscribe or follow. And if you know someone else who's on the fertility journey, please share this podcast with them. We're talking all about poor egg quality and 5 tips to help you get pregnant. So egg quality refers to how well an egg matures, fertilizes, develops into a healthy embryo. It's about the function, not the quantity. And common contributors include oxidative stress, inflammation, which I've talked a lot about inflammation on this podcast, looking at your high sensitivity C-reactive protein, making sure it's below 1, mitochondrial dysfunctions. The mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cells, thyroid imbalance, big theme we see with low AMH and high FSH, poor egg quality, thyroid imbalance, and being told it's normal. We don't want normal, we want optimal. Blood sugar dysregulation. We see so many of our clients with blood sugar dysregulation, so we're going to talk about that. Toxin exposure and chronic stress, which is the elephant in the room, chronic stress, right? Even if you're like, I don't feel stressed, maybe your body is. So poor egg quality doesn't necessarily mean that your eggs are bad. It just means the environment supporting them needs attention. In our Fab Fertile method, when you take a functional fertility lens, we work with couples worldwide. We ship tests worldwide. We have a whole team here with an OBGYN with a functional medicine background, functional nutrition practitioners, fertility mindset coaches, putting it all together so you don't waste time. We're not anti-IVF, we're pro-health, being able to look at your health, either get pregnant naturally or improve the chances of a successful IVF or IUI or Medicaid cycle. So from a functional fertility standpoint, you want to have a calm, nutrient-rich, low inflammation environment is good for egg development. So it takes 90 days for the egg to renew itself. The life cycle of the sperm is 70 to 80 days. So it's not just about you with the egg. We're talking today about egg health. Equally as important for him to work on his sperm health, even if the doctors told him, hey, your sperm count is amazing. We need to look at the full semen analysis, including DNA fragmentation, especially if you've had pregnancy loss. And so I'm just thinking of a client here. She had multiple egg retrievals, told that her egg quality was terrible. And she was in her 40s, and she also had Hashimoto's, she had endometriosis, she had low AMH. She followed our Fab Fertile method, and after about 7 or 8 months, she went in to do an egg retrieval. She had a beautiful egg retrieval. Went in to do a transfer, and she went on to have her son. This is after she was told that terrible, air quotes, egg quality. She did the work and made the changes. So we're going to talk about some of the changes today so you can start making those changes as well. So we want to optimize the cellular energy. So the egg is the largest and most energy demanding cell in the body. We got to support the mitochondria. I think a lot of us know taking CoQ10 or ubiquinol, omega-3s, magnesium glycinate, making sure you're doing your B vitamins. Don't take folic acid because you may have the MTHFR gene variant. 60 to 80% of us have that. And so you want to take a methylfolate prenatal, eating some nice antioxidant rich foods like pomegranates or blueberries, lots of leafy greens. We say eat the rainbow. I remember for years, I'm like, why does my plate look like a bunch of brown food? We got brown chicken, brown potatoes, like fried stuff. I was craving vegetables. I interviewed someone years ago and she's, we need to have 13 vegetables per day. And a bowl of salad is not like we count each leaf. No, that's one. So when we think about it, we just maybe have 2 or 3. We might have a cucumber, a carrot, or a broccoli. 13, we need to bring in more leafy greens and more antioxidant rich foods. We want to avoid fasting. So I know the intermittent fasting, the long windows of not eating is popular right now. That's not what we recommend for fertility. We don't recommend the keto, paleo, vegan, carnivore. Many fertility clinics are promoting the carnivore. Basically, it's an anti-inflammatory diet, which may be better for men, but long term, it can deplete nutrients. So we need the diet that's right for you. So send a message to hello@fabfertile.ca, subject line 10-day, and we'll give you the elimination diet. Takes out the top allergens over 10 days. You can do anything for 10 days, systematically reintroduce them. So we are not having you doing green juice. You're not on any kind of starvation diet. You're having wild-caught fish, grass-fed meat, organic poultry, half the plate veg, add in some rice, potatoes, sweet potatoes tolerated by blood sugar, add in some healthy fats. So it's eating things that are naturally free of the top allergens. We don't want you going on these like 12, 16, 18 window fasts. That can just be too much for your body. It can deplete the mitochondrial function, reduce egg quality. And so going too long without food can cause blood sugar drops, leaving you shaky, dizzy, fatigued. That's not what we recommend for fertility. And then the low blood sugar is going to increase stress hormones like cortisol, which can then suppress your reproductive hormones, signals the body can conserve resources, reducing ovulation and hormone production. So fasting is not where we go. Some of these things where we're doing cold plunging, we don't want to be doing that either, because especially for women, if you've got issues with your adrenals, it's just too harsh. So we need to do things in a nourishing, building, gentle way, not these parasite cleanses, harsh detoxes, none of that. That's not what we do for fertility. So we want to be able to nourish the mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cells, and this can help improve egg quality. Balancing the blood sugar. So if your blood sugar is on this little roller coaster, that can interfere with ovulation. So you got to have more protein. Send a message at hello@fabfertile.ca, subject line protein, and I'll give you our protein guide. It's way more than you think. Typically at least 30 to 40 grams per meal. So eggs are one of the top allergens. People are like, but I need to have lots of eggs for choline. It's great for fertility. Yes, it is, but maybe you're intolerant to the eggs. And if you're like, I can't give up eggs, I'm going to tell you right now, the thing that you're like, I can never give up, because we shouldn't be addicted to a food. Shouldn't say, I can never give it up. I can't give up my cheese. It's too much. No. If you can't give it up, you could be intolerant to it. Take out the top allergens, systematically reintroduce them. We do see a lot of people with eggs. It's not the egg yolk, it's the egg white. It's not about taking those foods out forever. We heal the gut. You can bring most of the foods back in. But I got another guide for you. Send me a message at hello@fabfertile, subject line breakfast. I have egg-free breakfast ideas for you. Because people are like, I'm taking out the eggs. What do I eat for breakfast? There's lots of ideas. I've got a whole 7-day guide. So you want more protein, fat, and fiber. Avoid processed carbs, refined sugars. You want to look at your A1C, so that's the blood sugar in the last 3 months. We're like between 4.5 to 5.5. That can impact your egg and embryo quality even when the labs look normal. We don't want normal, we want optimal. And so we want to have consistent meals. If you're feeling shaky or nauseous or hangry, your blood sugar could be dipping. If you're in the middle of the night, waking up around 1 or 3, your blood sugar can be dipping. And so after you have a meal, a good thing to do is to go for a walk. That can really help regulate your blood sugar and help your hormones. We talked about at the beginning there, reducing inflammation and toxin exposure. So inflammation will disrupt your follicle development and egg maturation. A lot of us know this. We've read the books and the podcast. Swap out the plastics. Yeah, we don't want to be microwaving in a plastic bowl. We don't want to be drinking out of a plastic water bottle. We don't want to have synthetic fragrances. Don't be having those plugins in your house that are waving off all these toxins, washing your clothes, these different fragrances on your clothes. All of that can impact your delicate endocrine system. Many of us know this, but we don't go into the house, throw it all in the garbage. As all those products expire, replace it with a non-toxic option. You want to filter your water. Don't drink tap water. There's 300 chemicals that can impact. The water can be filled with birth control pills. You're impacting your hormones. Get a filter. Start with a Brita and then make your way up. You can become a complete water snob. If you're doing tap water right now, just don't. Focus on anti-inflammatory foods. So focus on things that are not processed. You don't want ultra-processed foods. You don't want to have fast food. Anti-inflammatory foods, things that are naturally gluten-free, things that are naturally dairy-free, like having the meat and the fish and the veggies and some nice healthy fats. Cooking your veggies in tallow or duck fat is good too. some testing to uncover some hidden stressors. So as part of our Fab Fertile method, we always do functional lab testing. Like I said, we ship it worldwide. So we do food sensitivity testing using blood. We do have you do an elimination diet and then take out the top allergens. And then we have you do food sensitivity testing so we can see exactly what you're intolerant to. And I got people intolerant to lettuce or blueberries or some of your favorite foods. And we don't take it out forever, but we then reduce the inflammation and bring most of the foods back in conjunction with the food sensitivity testing, doing stool testing. Talked about it before, but don't just do one. I did one food sensitivity test or I did one stool test. It's multifactorial. We need to bring it all together to develop a targeted protocol. Otherwise, you're missing part of the equation. I see so many people doing a stool test, but then not getting a proper protocol. And then no one's really even fine-tuned the diet and reduced inflammation, or they haven't done a genetic side of things. So it's not personalized to them. You just do these very generalized protocols. And especially if you're DIYing this and just listening to all the blogs and the podcasts, you can just have expensive pee, you're taking too many supplements. It is investing to figure this thing out. And using testing, we ship it worldwide. Send me a message at hello@FabFertile, subject line fertile. I'll send you information about our Fab Fertile program, probably ask you a few questions, see where you are on the journey and see what's going to be right for you. We do the stool testing, looking at the DNA of the stool. This is not the same as the conventional test you're going to do with your conventional doctor. This is a functional lab testing, looking deeper and looking at those different infections that conventional testing has missed. Stool testing, food sensitivity testing. If you do have a leaky basement or if exposed to mold, we can do some mycotoxin testing, but a lot of times if we just use some binders and things to be able to help you take the mold out of your body if you've been exposed to it. It's more complex than that. I've done some podcasts on mold and the importance of that. But if you're living in a moldy house and exposed to this, that can be impacting all your biomarkers. But we go after all these mold protocols. You just need to be careful for fertility of not doing things too harshly. And so we work on the foundational pieces of the diet and sleep and movement and stress management. We reduce inflammation from food sensitivities, from infections in your gut, and then looking at this from a genetic standpoint. And then if we want to bring in mold testing, we can. But you want to have cruciferous vegetables, the turmeric, omega-3 to support the body's natural detox pathways. We're recording this mid-November, and one of our clients just announced that she's just given birth to her son, and she was with us for a year or so following our Fab Fertile method, and then she decided to go to do IVF. Just before she started the stimulation protocol with IVF, she was all excited. She's done a lot of work with us. She had thyroid imbalance, adrenal imbalance, her detox pathways, nervous system dysregulation, so a lot of stress, the fight or flight, mineral balance, immune system regulation. We have an IVF readiness checklist too to see if your body and mind and spirit is really ready for IVF, because we want to improve the chances of that working. She decided that it was right for her to support you wherever you are, because it is a very personalized decision, and we can still look at our checklist there to see what's been missed. And so she went on to conceive her son, and she just shared a picture with us the other day. So she had low AMH and high FSH. Her AMH is at 0.4, and she'd been trying for 2 years. She followed our method and was able to conceive her son. For egg quality support or hormone communication, so the hormones depend on clear communication between the brain, the thyroid, the adrenals, and the ovaries. And when the signaling breaks down, that egg development and ovulation can falter. So you want to look at the thyroid health. So even a mild thyroid imbalance can disrupt ovulation and embryo implantation. This is the theme I see over and over again, where you're told your thyroid is normal and it's not optimal. We need to have the TSH under 2. We need to get the full panel, including the free T3, the free T4, the reverse T3, the thyroid antibodies. We want all of those to be optimal. This episode's all about getting guides for you, but send me a message at hello@fabfertile.ca thyroid, and I will send you our thyroid guide. I've got a bunch of podcast episodes on thyroid, so I'll link that for you below as well. And so we want to add in some selenium, some zinc. Iron is essential for thyroid conversion and hormone balance. So if your thyroid is out of balance, this could be why the embryo is not making it. This is why your egg quality is not good. This could be why you're having pregnancy losses. Adrenal function. So chronic stress is going to raise cortisol, which steals resources from your reproductive hormones. If your body's in fight or flight and doesn't feel safe to procreate, it's going to prioritize keeping you alive rather than bringing on another little human. So we want to make sure we have balanced meals, gentle movement. This is not the time for you to do ultra marathons or do HIIT or boot camp. Do not do hot yoga. All of that piece can really stress the adrenals. It's not about you sitting on your butt on the couch though. We need to move. We can do resistance training. We can do some weight training, but not like you're so out of breath you can't even talk to the person beside you. We can bring in some adaptogens, so cortisol manager or ashwagandha or rhodiola that can help with sleep and regulate cortisol. We can see in black and white by doing our Dutch tests, so dried urine test. Again, if you're on the fertility journey, you've done low AMH and high FSH, and you're like, oh, I'm going to do a Dutch test. This is the solution. One Dutch test is not going to be the savior to this. It's part of the equation. Testing is part of it, but sometimes we get so caught up on the testing and the supplements that we forgot the fact that we're in a toxic job, that our relationship is splintering because we're so stressed about trying to have a child, that we're just in some high stress. Maybe we're going to do a graduate studies. All of this piece can impact our stress. Maybe we need to see in black and white what's happening with your adrenals, and maybe your cortisol line, your levels are flatline because you've had chronic stress for years. The cortisol should go up in the morning, come down at night. Maybe yours is, I don't think so. And so then we can just see it in black and white, and then we can start to make the changes. And that's why we have mindset coaches to be able to help you make these changes, because it can be simple but not easy, especially if you are like a hyperachiever, or you're like hyper vigilant, I gotta check everything, or you're the controller, you're like, I gotta control this and I gotta do that, and or maybe you're avoiding, you're like, I don't want to look at any of this stuff. Typically, if you're here, you're typically not an avoider, you're ready to take action. So we work with a lot of hyperachievers, the hyper vigilant people, because they're like, let's get the testing, I want to check everything. If you're listening to this, you're like, wow, these tests sound awesome, I am ready to do the test, and you're like, the mindset piece, I got that, I'm fine, I just want all the testing. You're the one that needs the mindset the most. If you're like, I don't need it, I'm going to tell you that's the elephant in the room. That's been missed. We see it over and over again. Oh, I'm totally fine, I don't need the mindset. And then we do our mindset checklist and look down there and go, okay, you got a whole bunch of food sensitivities, gut infections, your methylation pathways, all your genetic SNPs are lit up because you're not detoxing properly, you're not absorbing your B vitamins, your iron is low. All this piece can be from nervous system dysregulation. So even if mentally, emotionally you feel fine, your body doesn't. Sometimes we just need to see it in black and white and go, oh, okay, all of that stuff I have been doing is negatively impacting my health. It's got the biomarkers going the wrong way. As we nourish and we're gentle and we're kind to ourselves, give ourselves some grace, we can start to balance the adrenals. The liver and detox pathways. So the liver metabolizes estrogen. A sluggish detox can create estrogen dominance. So your cycle should come. It should not be any PMS, any heavy periods, and maybe you also have poor follicle quality, eggs not making it. The liver is key to be able to work on that, and so this is something we work with regularly in our Fab Fertile program. So we want to support the liver with cruciferous vegetables, getting hydrated, a lot of fiber, bringing in the magnesium glycinate, some choline, B vitamins that can aid in the estrogen metabolism. Inflammation, we've talked about this before. Deficiencies in your ferritin. We like the ferritin for IVF to be between 80 to 100. We regularly see ferritin 20s and 30s. We like vitamin D between 60 to 80. Low AMH and poor egg quality. We see a lot of times people's vitamin D is very low, but okay, I'm glad if you found out it's low and you started to supplement, that's amazing. But why is it low? Do you have gut infections? And we see that a lot. Or autoimmune issues. Elevated homocysteine, so we like that between 6 to 7. Sometimes we can see that high. And I've got a whole podcast episode on homocysteine that can impair your hormone communication, ovulation. And so when we address these, that can restore smoother cycles, improve the response to IVF, so we can improve the chances of that working. Like we just talked about, the mind-body connection. So the nervous system, a lot of times we underestimate how the nervous system affects reproductive hormones. And so if the body perceives chronic stress, it shifts into protection mode and suppresses the reproductive signaling. And so the hypothalamus is the brain's hormone command center, and it regulates the FSH and the LH and the GnRH. The stress is going to alter communication, leading to delayed ovulation, shorter luteal phases, lower quality eggs. So it's not just about hey, relax, you'll get pregnant. I know you want to slap the person that says, just go on a beach vacation, it'll be fine. But it's about creating the biochemical conditions for conception and seeing where is it coming from, a food sensitivity, a gut infection, the chronic stress you've been under, the environmental toxins, there's all this inflammation. So as we lower and address that, the body can come back online. So a lot of research around the mind-body connection. So Alice Domar, the pioneer of this, there's a study in fertility and sterility. Women who joined a 10-session mind-body group had a 52% pregnancy rate versus 20% in controls doing IVF. There's another meta-analysis where counseling and mind-body support increased pregnancy odds fourfold in people going through assisted reproductive technology. And other studies show mindfulness and relaxation lower cortisol and improve the heart rate variability, both associated with improved ovarian function and implantation success. As part of our Fab Fertile method, have fertility mindset coaches. We use heart math. I've got a podcast episode on that talking about your heart rate variability. Sometimes we're meditating and it's spiking all over the place. We want more of a smoother variability, and you're constantly stressed. And so instead of building the DHEA, we're burning cortisol. And so being able to slowly add these things in to have the body know it's safe. And so guided relaxations, we have that as part of our program as well. Breath work, meditations, journaling, we have energy healing, getting out in nature, like all this piece to be able to give voice to what it is you're going through. Because if someone has not been through the fertility journey, they just don't get it. And trying to explain it to them it can be frustrating when they say these things and they're very triggering. And so it is to educate people around you of how you want them to handle baby showers and announcements and how you want that handled. Sometimes people don't include you, or they do include you. You don't need to be the one planning the baby shower. It's first of all seeing what we need, even if we haven't even thought about it. And so when we look at the nervous system regulation, it's going to reduce inflammation, improve your sleep, and optimize your hormones. And we see this all the time where the cycles improve, you get a better response to IVF, people get pregnant, they feel calmer. When you work on your health, they come in very constricted. We can see them in our chat, blowing up the chat with all these questions. And then as they go through the protocol and they bring in the nutrients and they can really work on their nervous system, the body starts to calm down. And that panic and the impatience, even though it's not completely gone, it's not ruling our whole world. And being able to get the data, get the testing, looking at the stool, looking at the adrenals, looking at your thyroid, nutrient panels. We also look at the vaginal and the seminal microbiome. So if you got any infections in there, that could be why it's not working. And so egg development happens roughly over 90 days. So in a very short period of time, sometimes people are like, they've told me my fertility is falling off a cliff. I've got to rush to IVF. No, you don't have a medication deficiency. We need to deploy IVF, medicated cycles, IUI, PRP at the right time after we've made targeted changes to our health. Not in a panicked way, nourishing and in a gentle way. That's going to reduce inflammation, restore nutrient balance, support stress resilience, and support your embryo quality, either naturally getting or going through IVF. So poor egg quality doesn't define your fertility. It simply highlights where your body needs support. And so there's lots of things we can do to improve this. If you're ready to take targeted action with this and stop doing the DIY, stop following generalized recommendations, stop doing these partial protocols, or maybe you're following your REI saying, let's just tweak the medication. No, the majority of us can get pregnant naturally, to see what's happening with your body. So if you wanted to have my eyes on your specific situation, send me a message at hello@fabfertile.ca, subject line fertile, and we'll give you options to help. Take care.